However, there are just a few things I wanted to clear up.
If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm only right 99.5% of the time. Coach Greg, and today I'm responding to a video where Brandon Carden responded to a video where I responded to him gaining 15 pounds of muscle in 5 weeks on keto, okay? So he had originally made a video, said he gained 15 pounds on keto, of which most of it was muscle, as you can clearly see in the photo. Then I said, hey, Brandon Carter liked the guy, and he's a fake natty, though. And I showed evidence as to why. He has responded with a video in the thumbnail. It says, coming clean. Wonder if he's going to come in clean and admit he's, in fact, a fake natty. Doubt it. Maybe. We'll see.
All right, so first of all, I want to start off by saying that I am honored. It is not sarcasm. I am honored to be featured in one of Coach Greg's Natty or Nots as a functioning egomaniac. When I see all these other people getting Natty or Not videos made about them and I don't get one, I start to feel a little left out.
Rather than make a hate video, he's actually making a video saying, thank you for making that video because there's nothing wrong with making that video. Who do you think it better? This kind of response from Brandon Carden or Russell or he or Cali Muscle and Terrence Beckham? The results speak for themselves. Watch the videos and decide for yourself. Do you like the response or not?
And when he finally made it, I was thrilled. I was happy. In fact, I posted it on my Instagram. I told people to watch it. I posted the link to it. It says swipe up, check it out.
Think about it. Oh, Coach Greg's such an asshole. He's so much. He's doing his videos and he's such a hole. And what a bad person. Meanwhile, the people I'm doing these videos on are thanking me for it. Think about it. And I'm looking at the video and I'm like, he's not natural. I'm just watching it. I'm like, yeah, he's still not natural. I mean, you can make a response as nice as you want, but I still think what I think.
There's a few different channels that make these videos, you know, talking about other YouTubers. And the two that I respect the most are Greg and the other dude, Plates for Dates.
And he calls more plates, more dates. Plates for dates, same as me. I do that mistake all the time. And frankly now, I just like Plates for Dates name more. Even though if I think about it, I actually remember it's more plates, more dates. And he said he likes me and the Plates for Dates guy.
They are objective and they say nice things about the person.
We're both objective and say nice things if so deserved. We're not just out to shit on people. We're out to speak the truth. Just telling you the truth. Not trying to hate, just speaking the truth, telling you what I think.
Greg said a lot of great things about me. He said some really, really nice things about me. He said I look better than 99.9% of human beings on Earth.
You're better looking than 99.999% of the world.
He said I was a specimen of a man.
I said he's better looking than 99.999% of the world. That's a high percent. That's higher than last time. That's higher than I'm accurate on freaking Natty or Not videos. It's a lot of percentages. Said he's a specimen and he is. Look at this guy. Are you kidding me? It's not like that Tanner Fox guy. You know, I did a Natty or Not video on him and I'm consistently saying how amazing he is and how athletic he is. I'm just saying you can't gain that much muscle in that short a period of time. I just tell you the truth, people.
Right, that's one of the reasons why I like Greg and Plates for Dates.
And he said Plates for Dates again. He said it twice. And he's like, these guys, I like them because they're both actually in shape and they work out. It's better. It's easier to take criticism from someone who walks the walk, talks the talk, you know, that kind of thing.
I really appreciated it all. However, there are just a few things I wanted to clear up. This is not a video where me trying to defend myself. If you believe I'm on drugs, cool. If you don't, cool.
That's a good attitude, because really, who cares what other people think? I don't want you to care what other people think. It's my opinion. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm only right 99.5% of the time. It's holding steady at 99.5%. As you know, it was 99.6, and it went down because of Russell or High that I got it wrong, okay? It went down to 0.1.
The picture he showed me when I was 16, I just feel like I need to put that in context a little bit. That was Halloween, and I was The Rock. And I know that this doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter why you were dressed up as The Rock. I just thought you dressed up as The Rock. Like, for Halloween, that's cool. I dressed up as a swimmer before. It's cool, you dressed up as The Rock. I dressed up as a Ghostbusters when I was a kid, too. I dressed up as a lot of things. It's all fantastic. I dressed up as a cop before. I dressed up as a... What have I dressed up as? I dressed up as Clark Kent Superman this Halloween. It's all fun and games to dress up. I like dressing up.
But I just felt like I should clear that up. I didn't want you to think I was just walking around looking like that for for no reason at age 16.
Frankly, who cares why you're walking around looking like that at age 16? There's nothing wrong with that. I was on the swim team when I was 16. I wore the same kind of trunks, the Speedos, and I went swimming. What's wrong with that? Who cares? We're not judging you based on a photo you're 16. You did not have to clarify that.
And then he also mentioned that, I didn't have my transformation from when I was that age. That's true, right? I'm gonna be real with you, like Greg and I were both, older guys. I'm 38, he's 44, I believe. I'm
actually 45. We're older guys. It's okay. It's okay. We're not that old. We're not Grandma Josephine yet. We're not 98.
And when in the 90s, right, we didn't have digital cameras, right? Like we didn't have a bunch of images or videos. But what you can see is on my YouTube. And even if you think that I'm on some PEDs right now, I think that Coach Greg would believe that if you look at my progress from the first YouTube video to now, in that amount of time, I believe that you will agree that that's obtainable.
The answer is yes, but does that mean he did? The answer is no. And why do I think that? Because he had already made tremendous gains. He's 38 years old. So the course of a natural athlete is this. You make a lot of gains at first. Newbie gains way up there the first year. Second year, a lot less. Third year, less, and less. And then before you know it, you're 35 years old and you're not making any gains at all. But for him, he just continued to keep gaining. And what really put it over the edge that I thought he's not natural, it's the video that he posted recently where he said he gained 15 pounds. And get this, on keto, gained 15 pounds in 5 weeks. Mostly muscle. Does that sound reasonable after you've been training for years? Or does that sound like amazing newbie gains that you could maybe do with PDs if you're lucky?
So there was a point where he was saying, when I was talking about when a virus went around and I kind of stopped training and I wasn't really focused on my diet, he said that, that's really when I went off cycle, right? Okay. No, but I do want to be clear about what happened during that time.
You have all this muscle with anabolics, you go off and lose that, you go back on PDs, and again you get newbie gains, also muscle memory. You had the muscle before, it was up here, you lost it, then you can gain it back quicker in 5 weeks. Does that make sense? That's why I said it. Does that make sense? That's my reasoning. 15 pounds, mostly muscle, 5 weeks, automatic PDs, you're gonna be right 99.999% of the time, which is as good looking as this guy compared to other people. Better looking than 99.999% of people. That's how often you're gonna be right.
That time was extremely stressful for me in particular. Some people had it worse. Some people's family members died. Some people died. I'm not trying to draw up sympathy, but I feel like I should explain it. I was one of these dorks who took the virus like really, really seriously. So all my employees who were living in New York, I told them to leave. I stayed in New York because I couldn't convince my son's mom to leave. Call me a dork, call me a loser, left-wing loser, whatever. I was taking it really seriously.
No one's thinking that. Do you really think that people think that? And frankly, if they do, freaking ignore that shit. You don't need to believe that. You don't need to listen to that. You have the power. You choose what you're going to listen to and what you're not. Don't listen to people who are making fun of you for worrying about the cold. You have every right to worry the way you should be worried.
And I couldn't see my son. I told you guys before, I don't have a car, but that's because I live in Manhattan. And, I just used to just take Ubers everywhere. And I didn't see my son for months. I FaceTime with him almost every day. I made sure him and his mom had everything they needed, but I didn't see my son. And that was like, I don't know, man, that was depressing.
Totally understand that you would be depressed, not able to see your son all the time. You're in isolation. You're worried. Yeah, I get that. That can be very hard on your psyche. Definitely. Totally understand that.
To make matters worse, one of my good friends, Connor Murphy, y'all know my company has been helping Connor with his business since the beginning. And I was even the co-host on his podcast.
And Connor Murphy was one of his good friends. Did not realize that. You guys know I made a video on Connor Murphy. You saw the mental struggles and the whole thing, and I don't need to get into details. So yes, I get it. Between everything, hopefully he was able to keep training and focus on training to keep from being overly depressed. Remember, exercise releases endorphins. If you're depressed and you exercise, it can automatically put you in a better mood or make you feel better. So the time of the cove, when the gyms are closing and shutting down, it's actually the time you need exercise the most, more than last time. It's essential. It should be deemed an essential service. We need to exercise. We don't want to. We need to. We need to eat. We need shelter, we need clothing, we need to stay warm. We need to exercise. If we don't exercise, don't let anyone tell you it's not as important as last time. It's importanter than last time.
I want to say this without being disrespectful to Connor or whatever, or his family, but you know, you guys know what happened with Connor. And that was like really stressful for me because those of you who know my history, my dad committed suicide. Like, we found a note and it was bringing back all those memories.
I mean, with the suicide of his father growing up and Connor Murphy and the Cove, I mean, frankly, surprised he did as good as he did. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you still need to exercise, that it's not a reason to give up. You really need to do it more than ever.
Yeah, man, I was depressed. And it wasn't until things started changing and I met, you know, my new girlfriend and the gyms finally opened. I remember the gyms closed in New York first and opened last.
And he's got a new girlfriend, and by the looks of it, no wonder he's motivated to go back to the gym. I mean, is his girlfriend getting hotter than last time, or what exactly is happening? Talking about motivation, yeah, pretty sure we can see what happens. So the gyms open up, he gets a new girlfriend, and he cares about himself again, and he wants to be healthier than he ever was.
I probably lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight, man. I lost a lot of weight. I wasn't really eating like that. I'm sure I lost a lot of glycogen. And, you know, that shit just had a huge effect on me.
So he's saying it wasn't from going off PDs. He lost a lot of weight because he wasn't eating properly. Maybe he wasn't eating enough, okay? So he was eating less. So if you eat in a calorie deficit, what all happens, everyone? You get leaner. So he would have lost a lot of body fat. So what should have happened is he would have been shredded. You don't need to count macros to get shredded. You just need to eat in a deficit. So if he was under eating, his glycogen store certainly would go down and he would in fact lose some water weight. So that would explain his ability to gain muscle after. Listen, I'm doing a fair analysis of what's happening. So yes, I could see him losing some weight from not eating enough. A lot of it would be water and some would be fat. Not sure if it'd be 15 pounds, but let's see.
Then there was a point where he brought up me having gyno. I don't think I have gyno, man.
I'm pretty sure I showed a picture showing clear signs of gyno, showing clear puffy nips that were in fact there. When you get the early stages of gynecomastia, you could take Nova, Femora, Clomid, and it can be reduced, okay? The flare-ups don't mean it's permanent.
Then he also talked about how you won't gain water on keto. Right? Now here's the thing, when you bulk on keto, you will.
Whoa. Okay, yeah, when you go on keto, you are going to lose water because every gram of carb stores 3 grams of water. So 100 grams of carbs, 300 grams of water, it's about a pound. Very easy to lose several pounds of water weight when you go from eating carbs to going keto and relying ketones for energy by eating a protein and fat diet that's very limited in carbs. That's actually exactly what happens. So what is he going to say about that?
And here's another thing. I said I was doing a keto-ish diet. So remember, my protein was really high. I was eating 300 grams plus protein per day. So if your protein is really high, even with a low carb diet, what's going to happen is something called glyconeogenesis.
No, that just converts a minimal amount for brain function. Your body's relying on ketones for energy. If that were true, you could literally carb deplete and just eat protein and fat and fill your muscles with glycogen and get huge, massive pumps. When you're on a keto diet, you're relying on ketones, hence the word keto. It comes from ketones. Keto diet means you're functioning on ketones for energy. Ketone bodies does not explain gaining 15 pounds. You would not have gained water. In fact, you probably would have lost more water. If you went from an if it fits your macros diets where you can eat carbs and then you suddenly eat less carbs and go on a keto diet, you would lose more water, not gain any. So that defense, that argument you made, it doesn't hold any validity whatsoever.
So you're going to get a lot more full. Imagine like somebody who's depleted and then they get a bunch of glucose infused into their muscles. They're going to look way bigger. They're going to look way more impressive.
So yeah, you're going to get way more bigger and way more impressive, as you're saying, if you eat carbs, not if you eat protein. Frankly, protein going to dehydrate you. Eat way too much protein, you're going to get dehydrated, not extra hydrated. It does the opposite of what you're saying it could do.
And there's another point that was left out is I said I was taking between 10 to 20 grams of creatine a day, right? So if you take 20 grams of creatine a day, you're going to put on some water, man.
So he's now saying it's the 10 to 20 grams of creatine a day that made him put on all that water. If anyone believes that, you're a moron.
If any of you have ever loaded up on creatine, you see it. You know what it is. Every time you load up on creatine, you're going to see a huge increase in mass. And, you know, most of that's going to be water, right?
Is he actually selling creatine? I mean, watching this video, if I was a newbie, I didn't know anything, maybe I'm 16 years old and I listen to him, I'm like, I'm buying creatine. I'm like, Mom, can you buy me some creatine? Anyone that's done this knows this? Nope. Done this knows it's not true. You don't take a bunch of creatine and all of a sudden look like Brandon Carter or anything even better than yourself. Helps a weensy bit.
I tried to get on TRT before, but they said my testosterone was too high. And he said, why would somebody who looks like this even go in for TRT? And, you know, I like the compliment. Thanks again for the compliment. The reason I did, because my brother is on TRT, right? My brother had just got on it, and he was telling me how much better he felt and how much better he looked, and I even saw it, and he just suggested that I go check it out. And I was like, all right, cool.
It's interesting. They're brothers, the same, similar type of genetics, and one needed it, one didn't. Or was his testosterone levels too high because maybe he was already on testosterone?
Greg also said, don't you think the doctor would tell you to have more fruits, vegetables, salmon, do more cardio? And yeah, in fact, now that I'm on keto, I get way more vegetables than when I was doing like a it fits your macros kind of diet. I get a lot more vegetables now, and I really believe that helped, the vegetables and the cardio, just like Greg.
Frankly, if you're on a keto diet, your vegetable intake and fruit especially has to be next to nothing, because you're going to get too many carbs from the vegetables and fruits that you're eating. You can't just sit there and eat a bunch of peas and cords and say you're on a keto diet. You're actually on the circle diet if you do that. If you're eating a lot of fruit and vegetables, you're kind of eating like Coach Greg. For a lot of fruit and vegetables, you see how much spinach I put in a bowl and wraps? You're not really on a keto diet. You're maybe on a South Beach diet. You're on a lower processed carb diet, perhaps. Not keto. Just don't call it keto. It's not actually keto if you're not in ketosis.
I talked to Greg a little bit after it went up. I talked to him on Instagram. It's no beef between us. He's cool, and we talked, and I got a lot of respect for him. You know what I'm saying? And I told him, man, listen, if I decide to go to the other route, either TRT or even PDs or anything like that, like it's never off the table.
And he is correct. We have spoken in private, and he did say he would hire me if he chose to go that route. He's not making anything up.
And listen, just in conclusion, I just want you guys to know there are people who are in great shape without PDs.
I certainly agree that just because you have an amazing physique, it doesn't automatically mean you're on PDs. It just means most likely you are. It's like having ace-ace. Doesn't mean you're going to win in Texas Hold'em every time, even though you have ace-ace. You might still lose. It's just most of the time if you bet, you're going to be right. Doesn't mean you can't. If you chose the right parents, you have the best genetics, and you train hard, eat right, you can have an amazing physique even if you're natural.
And if you want to do PDs, it's your body, man. I've done way worse in my life than take PEDs. And those of you who follow me for you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, if I was on PEDs all the time, it would not rank in the top 10 of bad things I've done in my life.
And by way worse things, he means playing in the dirt and not washing his hands before eating. That's what he means.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all, actually. Matter of fact, I probably misspoke. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. All I'm saying is that, listen, if you're a young dude and you want to do it naturally, you can. You really can.
He's also not judging you if you do or don't do PDs, but he is saying if you're a young guy, young girl circle, don't do it. You're too young. You need to wait. Don't make these big life-altering decisions when you're young. You got to give yourself some time to grow up and stay natural as long as possible. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IB Pro. Blooping up 2 videos. Hope you watch them both. And until next time, I am out. Not like that skateboarder guy. Remember the skateboard? Let's look him up. Skateboarder guy. Tanner Fox. I knew it started with a T.